Hey everyone, welcome to Casanova Properties. If you have been watching the videos in sequence, I wanted to add an additional revenue stream to the way that we look at investing in real estate, investing in multifamily apartment buildings. In fact, investing in any property in real estate, you can account for that additional revenue stream that I missed in the last episode, and that's forced appreciation. Now, that happens in both single-family residence, which I have been talking until now about, but it also happens in multifamily apartment buildings. But the way it happens with apartment buildings is different, or there are many other opportunities to force appreciation in an apartment building property than there is in a single family residence. For example, in a single family residence, it's maybe a detached or a townhome or a semi, even maybe a condo. Sometimes forced appreciation can be made through a renovation. So through a renovation or through certain upgrades, you're able to compare those renovations with other properties within the neighborhood, and that in itself is, we are actively increasing the value of that property. So in other words, we are increasing or creating an additional revenue stream in the properties that we are investing in. So we talked about positive cash flow, we talked about market appreciation, we talked about mortgage pay down, and we also spoke about forced appreciation, which not necessarily you're able to do that in all cases, especially if you're buying a property that it has already been renovated or has no upgrades available to it. Also a strategy in itself, but we're not going to talk about that in detail right now. So the first thing that I wanted to mention, and this is where I'm going to leave it at that for now in this video, and then we'll carry on in the next video after that, is that there's a general confusion that our family residence, our single family residence, our home is an asset. That's a myth. And of course, not all of you believe this, but a great majority of the population believe that they have an asset in their hands. But the fact is that all of the expenses of that asset, or that so-called asset, your home, all of the expenses that are coming out to maintain that property are coming out of your hard-earned money. If they're coming out of your pocket. So from my perspective, in order to convert that property into an asset, into a real asset, that asset is supposed to be making you money. So what are those expenses that must be accounted for? Well, most of us know of the mortgage, the insurance, and the property taxes. Right? What is also coming out of our pockets, and what we would generally account for when doing our calculations as investors would include repairs and maintenance, and will also include capital expenditures. Now, not to be confused with repairs and maintenance. So those are two separate line items when we do our calculations. Then there is lawn and snow. So etc. So what we don't realize is, or most of us, I should say, is that there is more to what's coming out of our pockets in our single family residence, in our single home, which is okay. It's a lifestyle. But when we invest in a single family property as a second property itself, all of those expenses, including the first big three and all of the ones that I mentioned to you just now, in addition to others which I haven't mentioned yet, are leaks in your own home or in an investment. they are leaks. It's a single roof with all of the expenses within that single roof. As you add more units into that property, all of those leaks are divided into more and more units. But we will talk a little bit more about that later in future videos. For now, I just wanted to add one more thing about the notion or the myth that we own an asset within our homes. And it's the fact that if we don't take the equity that is built up on that home through time, if we're leaving that equity within our home or within that particular single family residence or any property for that matter, that equity is sitting there doing nothing. So if it's doing nothing, then all the more reason why the property that you're living in is not an asset, but a liability. So I'm going to leave that at that for now, and we're going to talk about economies of scale and all within multifamily properties. So I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.